Hello everyone and welcome to today's edition of the Cheap Meal presented by Deep Fried Draft. My name is Brian Bosarge. We're going to jump right into it. We got a whole lot of reviewing previewing for Week 6. We got 9 games to get to, but a lot of news, injuries and the like to get to. So let's jump right in on that. Some college football news for Oregon. Their sophomore quarterback, a guy I've talked about here a few times. True sophomore, not eligible this year, of course, but Justin Herbert. Broke his collarbone, out 4 to 6 weeks. This is a big problem for the Ducks, who have been resurgent this season. But they've got to play Washington State, at Stanford, at UCLA, Utah, and at Washington the next 5 weeks. And you have to do that without your starting quarterback. They're pretty screwed. Another sophomore that is dinged up is stud defensive lineman Ed Oliver of Houston. He's day-to-day with an MCL sprain. For UCLA, a guy I've talked about on numerous occasions is UCLA redshirt sophomore tight end Caleb Wilson, who has emerged this year as the go-to target for Josh Rosen. He will now miss the rest of the season with a foot injury. Alabama senior defensive lineman Deshaun Hand also has a sprained MCL, a little bit more significant than Ed Oliver's, I would expect, since he is out 3 weeks. Or should be out 3 weeks. And UTEP head coach Sean Kugler resigned after his team has started 0-5. He'll be replaced by former UTEP head coach Mike Price, who's going to come out of retirement to be the interim head coach. And in the make you feel old category, it was announced by Illinois that sophomore quarterback Jeff George Jr. Will start for Illinois against Iowa. I'm going to get a little bit into this. I think tomorrow that's going to be our feature. I'm going to do a podcast tomorrow for our Thursday update. But the very first draft I watched was in 1990, and Jeff George was the number 1 pick in that draft. But yeah, so that makes me old, I guess. In the NFL, some injury news there to talk about. My number 1 overall running back prospect and Vikings second-round pick, Dalvin Cook, torn ACL. He's done for the year. And just breaking earlier today, Saints linebacker and third-round pick, Alex Anzalone from Florida. He's going to miss the rest of the season. He was placed on IR. For Anzalone, this has been a problem for him. This is why he was available in the third round. The kid had first-round talent, but could never stay healthy at Florida, and it strikes again in his rookie season in the NFL. So now let's get to our preview. 9 games, like I said earlier, on the go for this week, and we're going to start tomorrow night, Thursday, at 7 p.m. on ESPN. It's Louisville at NC State. For Louisville, we're going to see how their junior quarterback, Lamar Jackson, he's going to be facing a tremendous pass rush. B.J. Hill, number 98. Kentravius Street, number 35. Josh Jones. Darian Roseboro, number 45. Nick Chubb. Just tremendous defensive line. Number 74, junior offensive tackle, Jerron Christian. He's going to have to try to stop somebody. So we'll see how that goes. On Friday night at 6 p.m. on ESPN, it's Memphis at UConn. For Memphis, senior quarterback number 4, Riley Ferguson. He struggled since the UCLA game. So we're going to see if he can bounce back against a UConn defense that has also been struggling. And their senior corner, number 21, Jamar Summers, was a draftable prospect thought by many coming into the season, but he has not had a good year. So we'll see how he does in this one. Let's go to Saturday's games at 11 a.m. on CBS Sports Network. Eastern Michigan at Toledo, and this is a quarterback matchup, a MAC quarterback battle. For Eastern Michigan, their senior number 4 quarterback, Brogan Roback, 6'3", 206. Want to get a good look at him. Got my first look at him in the Bahamas Bowl, the Popeyes Bahamas Bowl last year. So I want to get another look, start getting a good look at him. And I wrote up earlier this summer Toledo's senior quarterback, number 11, Logan Woodside. You can go back and read that at deepfrieddraft.com. But he's got a pair of receivers that I want to get a look at in this game. Number 25, senior wide receiver Cody Thompson, who's 6'2", 200. And he's got a junior wide receiver who's a burner. Guy can go. Number 7, junior John Vea Johnson, 6', 185. We're going to dip into the FCS ranks again this week, and we're going to check out Youngstown State at South Dakota. That's a 2 p.m. kickoff. If you have ESPN Extra on DirecTV, you can watch it there. If not, you can do it on the ESPN app. But for Youngstown State, we're going to look at a couple of offensive prospects, and they have a quarterback that I want to look at. I watched a lot of Youngstown State games last year, but not a whole lot of their offense. So now it's kind of reversed this year. They don't have the defensive prospects to look at, but they've got the offensive prospects. So now I'm going to go back and look at those guys. And number 6, the senior quarterback, Hunter Wells. He's a big kid, 6'5", 215. Let's see how he slings the football. He's got a good receiver to go to. Number 4, senior Damon Patterson, 6'2", 190. At this time, nobody from South Dakota on my radar, but we'll see what happens. 2:30 p.m. on CBS, LSU is at Florida, and this is a WTF because what the hell's happened to LSU? This is a team I thought would be very good this season, but Coach Orgeron just ain't getting it done. I mean, it's just horrible. And then there's reports coming out this week that he's basically limiting what offensive coordinator Matt Canada can do with the offense. Just let the dude coach offense. What the hell do you know about coaching offense, Ed Orgeron? Let Matt Canada, who's killing it last year with the offense, just do what he wants to do. Stupid. Anyway, but a couple of defensive guys for LSU to watch in this one. Arden Key, the other times I watched LSU this season, he didn't play. So I want to get a look at him. He's a tremendous edge rusher, but I've heard he's struggled a little bit so far this season trying to get his feet back under him. And they have a junior corner, Kevin Tolliver, number 2, is a good-looking prospect. For Florida, let's look at their undersized receiver, number 4, senior Brandon Powell. 3 p.m. on the SEC Network is Arkansas at South Carolina. Austin Allen, I've kind of dropped him down in my last rankings. Just some other quarterbacks I like more than him now. The more I thought about him, I just think he's going to measure in small, probably have small hands. And so, I mean, it's just a guy I'm going to sour. I've soured on a little bit. Maybe he can win me back over. South Carolina will try to stop Arkansas on defense with their makeshift offensive line. We'll see how that goes. 6:15 p.m. on ESPN2 is Virginia Tech at Boston College. For Boston College, their number 1 prospect, and probably at this point in time I have to consider a top 10, at worst top 15 prospect, is their senior number 7 edge rusher Harold Landry. This guy has tremendous get off, bends around the edge, was like a maniac, almost Von Miller-esque the way he's got some bend there. I'm not saying he's Von Miller-esque, but he's 6'2", 245. Virginia Tech, they have their top prospect on offense. Maybe not a top prospect on offense, but guard Wyatt Tiller, number 57, 6'5", 295. You get a look at him in this one. 2 more games. Saturday night, 9:15 p.m. on Fox Sports 1 is Stanford at Utah. Stanford, Bryce Love continues to be ridiculous. Dude is already over 1,000 yards rushing in 5 games. He had over 300 in the last game. But this defense, Utah, a bit tougher than perhaps what they faced. Also want to get a look at their senior guard tackle, number 64, David Bright. He's 6'5", 299. Questions as to what he's going to play at the next level. For Utah, we've talked in abundance about their senior defensive lineman, number 93, Lolo Talele. We're also going to get a look at number 45, Filippo Mokafisi, also a senior defensive lineman. He's 6'3", 295. 9:45 p.m. on ESPN2. San Diego State is at UNLV. The main matchup to watch in this one will be UNLV's senior wide receiver, number 83, Devontae Boyd. He's 6'1", 175, going against fast-rising senior corner Cameron Kelly, number 7 for the Aztecs, 6'2", 200. Big, long corner. I think he was a safety at one point, but has now moved down to corner. So maybe he's going to could be a hybrid at the next level, or maybe he's a straight corner. We'll see. But we're going to get a look at him against Devontae Boyd in this one. And that's going to do it for today's edition of the Cheap Meal. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at Deep Fried Draft, Facebook.com/Deep Fried Draft. YouTube, search Deep Fried Draft, click subscribe so you get notified when these videos go up. And for our podcast, download the Bumpers app in the App Store. App Store. Go to App Store, somewhere on there. Download the Bumpers app. Subscribe to those podcasts and get a listen. But as always, thanks for watching, and until next time.